Hello, hopefully you've been playing 4 versus 1 for the last week and you'd like to know some strategies to help you do a little bit better or bring your game to the next level. These strategies are by no means a guarantee that you will win because you can always be outsmarted by the other player, but they are some strategies that will help you to do better no matter which side you're on. So let's go ahead and start off with strategies for player 1. So remember, player 1, the objective is to capture player 2. While we're going through that, player 2 is trying to get past. So you have to keep that in mind when you're thinking about your strategies. So the first strategy that I like to do with player number 1 is to make sure to keep a straight line. Notice right now the black can't get past the red because the red's in a straight line. As we move forward here, I'm just going to do 4 turns. I formed a straight line again. Player 2 cannot get past because we formed a straight line. He's stuck, right? So the black piece can't get past because we have a straight line. So what you're going to try and do, if you can, is to keep a straight line all the way across. So let's keep moving for a little bit. I'm going to try and keep my straight line by going there. But then player 2 kind of interferes. So I can't keep my straight line if player 2 is right there. All right? I guess I could if I moved this one over and then the black player moved back, and then I could sort of move it forward. But what I'm going to recommend at this point is a second strategy. So here's our second strategy. When you can't form a solid straight line all the way across, try forming a bowl. I don't know what else to call it, but it looks kind of like a bowl. See how the red players form a bowl-looking thing around the black player, and you can't get past that, right? This player now has to kind of find a way to go around the outside of it, and that would take 1, 2, 3 moves to get there, and by that time, you'll have time to hopefully form up a straight line or form a new kind of bowl. All right, so when you can't keep a straight line, try and form some kind of bowl, a protective circle around the other player that will force them to do something that they might not want to do. So we'll go ahead and kind of play this out just a little bit. We've gotten to this point now. Again, this player is kind of sitting in the middle, so we could go forward and make another bowl, or it's his turn. We're going to try and keep our straight line. Notice how we're trying to keep our straight line. But then he tries to thwart us again. So although this one isn't quite as fancy a bowl, boom, we've formed another barrier. So now, to get past, he's going to have to go 1, 2, 3 to get around. And by the time he goes all the way around there, maybe we've had a chance to form up another straight line or get another bowl set up that forces him to kind of go. So those are the two major strategies that I'm going to recommend if you're player number 1 or if you're the 4, the pawns, is to form straight lines as often as you can. Get back to those straight lines as quickly as you can and as often as you can. When you can't form a straight line, form some kind of bowl around player number 2 to try and force them out. Like in this case, he has to go there, and just keep making those bowls, making those lines, forcing that player to go where you want them to go. And your goal is to, again, capture him, so you want to reduce the amount of places that he can go on the board. All right. Now we're going to go over to player 2. Player number 2, your goal is to get past these lines. So the first strategy I'm going to suggest is to thwart the lines. So here's an example. I'm just going to show you, here is what ideally player number 1 wants to do, is to make these lines. Okay? Now, do you notice a pattern here? That if you look at each individual piece, this piece wants to stay here or here, 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 here. All right? If this pattern continues, I'm going to lose. So what you want to do is to try and get a piece like this one to not only go there, but then also go here as well. So you want to try and get him out past those two spaces. All right? Now, how to do that? is sometimes challenging, and it varies from game to game, but a good strategy is to try and get the pieces to move out of the two spaces that they want to be in. All right? So I call that just thwarting the lines, trying to break the lines. The second strategy is kind of something to avoid, and that's avoiding the edges or the corners. This is a good strategy for player number 2 because player 1 can trap you with just 2 pieces if you retreat to an edge or a corner. Here's an example of that. Let's say you were here, it just takes 2 pieces to trap you. If you're in the corner here, it would only take 1 piece to trap you. And then again, if you're over in a corner like this, 2 pieces can trap you between, into a corner. So corners and edges are not your friend. You want to stay out in the middle as much as possible, and you want to try and force the player number 1 to actually follow you out of their order. So you want to thwart the lines and you want to avoid the edges and the corners. All right. Now, if you've been practicing and playing for the last week or so since I posted the video with the rules, maybe you've already been doing this, or maybe you've figured this one out. Perhaps you found some other strategies that are really fun or that work really well. If so, you can go ahead and post those in the comments. Let me know some of the strategies that you found that really work. I hope you guys are having fun playing 4 versus 1, king versus pawns. Have a great day.